from Jennifer Brunner's office. Jeff Ortega. All right, we do have him up. Jeff, are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. You're with the Secretary of State's office?
That's correct.
Okay. I was hoping to be able to get a word with the Secretary. Is she around by any chance?
We can check her schedule, but the producer called, and so I'm calling you back.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate that. Yeah, we were hoping to get her on. Maybe you can speak for her. Can you explain to me why it is that there are no observers who are allowed to watch the registration/voting that is going on at various locations around Ohio right now?
It's not provided for in Ohio law. Legislature, when they changed the observer laws in 2005 and 2006, did not provide for observers during the early voting period. However,
it didn't rule them out, did it?
It did not provide for them.
It didn't provide for them, but
correct.
it doesn't say it's illegal to have any observers there, right?
It did not provide for observers during that time period. However, absentee voting is overseen by bipartisan election officials.
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit curious now because it sounds like the Secretary has some leeway here. She's got some play. You say it wasn't provided for, but it wasn't ruled against either. If you have impartial people who want to come, like you said, bipartisan people, or you want to have Republicans and Democrats be there to observe the same way they are on Election Day, that could happen.
It's not provided for under Ohio law. They are legally required to be allowed during the critical phases of opening, processing, and counting absentee ballots. But during the in-person early voting period, when the legislature changed the laws in 2005 and 2006, it did not provide for.
But they're allowed to be there. They're allowed to be there on November 4th when votes are being cast, right?
That's correct, and that's provided for in law. And the courts have just recently have held. Overturned a request on that issue.
All right, but again, I'm failing to understand. The legislature did not pass anything that says they are forbidden from being there. You're saying they're not provided for.
That's correct.
So the Secretary has a decision to make here, and she very well could have said, sure, if we want to have the same election observers be there that are going to be there on November 4th, be there while votes are being cast now, that would be okay.
As I said, the legislature did not provide for it during when they changed the laws in 2005, 2006. The Secretary of State has moved an advisory to county boards of elections, noting that provision and that aspect of the law. She has said that if counties, counties may get requests on that issue. If they follow the advisory, the litigation stemming from that would be centered on the Secretary of State. However,
and her advisory that she sent out was saying, no, we're not allowing anybody to watch.
No, she's pointing to the state of law, which does not provide for observers during that time period.
Okay, got it. But she had some leeway here. She chose the other way. I think I understand it now because she doesn't want anybody to see what's going on at these early voting things.
No, I mean, as I indicated, the legislature did not provide.
Yeah, I know. I heard that about 4 times now. I want to move on because we're short on time here. Can you tell me what the state, what the Secretary of State's office is going to do, and what election boards in 88 counties are going to do to make sure that these enormous voter registration drives that are being conducted by fraudulent organizations, I should say, that are perpetuating fraud, who have been convicted of perpetuating fraud in the past in registering people who are not eligible to vote, people who don't exist, people with doing it multiple times, how they're going to sort all of that out by November 4?
There are in terms of
in terms of groups like Acorn going around, because we've been playing audio from video that has been taken at various locations of people being scooped up, taken to these registration areas, and where they're allowed to vote now according to the new law, which was challenged and defeated in court, which is insane. I know you can't comment on that, but they're taking these people there. No one is allowed to watch because of what you just described, the Secretary's advisory and the non-allowance.
Bipartisan election officials are present throughout that entire in-person.
Okay, understood. Which is why I don't understand why there wouldn't be a problem with having observers there to make sure.
Again, the legislature did not provide for it.
Yeah, I understand that, but it did not law it either. So, we can do that back and forth 18 times, and it's not going to change it. So my question is there is the entire electoral process in the state of Ohio is rife for fraud. It is absolutely there. So much potential for fraud exists. How is the Secretary advising the elections boards in 88 counties to handle people who are being brought in off the streets, homeless people with no address, no ID, nothing to prove who they say they are, that they're not going to another precinct and doing the same thing later?
Right. Boards of elections have procedures in place to process in-person and mail-in absentee voting. Secretary Brunner has already told boards to segregate the ballots in question. As I indicated, the boards of elections have procedures in place to process these, and safeguards are in place.
Safeguards are in place. What safeguards are in place if they dump, let's say, 40,000 registrations on you at the deadline?
Again, boards of elections have procedures in place to process these ballots. They're being told to segregate the ballots in question.
Segregate by what? By what categories?
All absentee ballots completed during the overlap must be on paper ballots enclosed in ID envelopes.
Mm-hmm. And what safeguards are in place that let us know that if there is one paper ballot that is cast in one place and another one in another place, that the same person didn't do two of them, considering they don't have an ID, they don't have anything to prove who they say they are?
Again, there are procedures in place.
Which procedures are those?
Again, we could go through a whole litany, but
give me one.
As I explained to the producer, we got some other issues. I know you got to go to some other things you're dealing with as well, but appreciate the call. Got to get off now.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I feel much better about the integrity of our election process than I did before.